The Labyrinth, the gold farm during the Shadow of the Mad King events. To effectively farm this event, you do tend to need a build built for tagging. Not only does a tagging build help you, but it also helps your allies by keeping damage low and sometimes providing boons. Guild Wars 2 is a game that is played for fun, so might as well have fun farming builds for the Labyrinth on your favorite elite specialization. Today we're going to be going over every light armor elite specialization that is currently out and giving them a Labyrinth build. We will also be rating them based on boon production, tagging abilities, movement capabilities, and ease of use, and overall just how good it is, as well as going over all the skills you need to avoid due to pushes or fears. If you're interested in just one or a few specializations, I do have timestamps available. Before we get started though, Minstrels is going to be the stat every single build uses. It's incredible for any build because it gives increased survivability with its toughness and vitality, and also lets boons that you provide last longer because of its concentration. It's also great for this because it does not increase your damage outputs. Also, the relic that every build will use is going to be the Relic of the Wayfinder. This gives us a movement speed buff constantly and passively. To start off, we're going to be going with the 2 health bar Necro Elite specialization, Reaper. Our weapon is going to be main hand sword and offhand dagger. Sword is great for a tagging weapon, both providing decent mobility with its leap on sword 3 and a wide piercing auto attack that fires pretty quickly. Dagger is not really needed, but it provides an AoE skill and no fear skills to worry about, like you would have to worry about with sword offhand or warhorn offhand. For the build itself, we have Blood Magic 111, which provides us with increased healing to allies and the funnest trait of all, Blood Bank, which lets us keep around 15,000 barrier on us at almost all times. We also have Soul Reaping 321, which gives us increased health and buffs or Shroud, giving immobilize removal upon entering Shroud and reducing cooldowns, which is great for bosses, if of course you're running purple doors. Finally, we have Reaper 313, which further helps immobilize stay off of us, and provides more Shroud regen, and of course, quickness production to ourselves. For our skills, we have Well of Blood, Well of Suffering, Well of Darkness, and Well of Corruption, as well as Chilled to the Bone. The damaging wells help a lot for tagging mobs during green doors. Healing well is well for healing, and Chilled to the Bone is for the CC if needed during bosses. How we use this build is going to be mainly using its Shroud for bosses like Steve or purple doors as well. As well as its leap for catching up. Outside of this, we're mainly going to be sticking to our sword and dagger to tap mobs and wells for green doors. Also, a fear skill to be careful of is the Reaper Shrouds 3. Double tapping this will cause fear. So on the boons front, this is terrible. The only boons that it can provide is very minor regeneration from a blood magic trait and your Well of Blood. So this gets an F tier. For the tagging abilities, it's fairly decent with its sword and wells, so I'll be giving this an A tier. Its mobility is quite strong with 3 leaps, including some skills that help with immobilize that the mobs inflict. A+ tier. Ease of use. Due to the sword being piercing, it requires good positioning to hit multiple targets at once. Plus, with having no boons, you have to tag for bags. For the rest of the skills though, you only have to really use them on bosses and green doors. B tier. Overall, this isn't the best build for the Labyrinth, but it does have some upsides and can be really good for going against bosses with its Shroud for toggleable damage. B+ tier. Now it's Scourge time. Our weapons are yet again going to be sword and dagger due to their tagging potential and mobility on sword 3. For the build, we have Blood Magic 111 for healing increase, then Soul Reaping 321 for the immobilized clear and increased survivability. Finally, we have Scourge 133 for Conde Cleanse, Alec, and other boons. For skills, we have Well of Blood, Serpent Siphon, Well of Darkness, and Well of Corruption, as well as our elite Ghastly Breach. Our Wells and elite are great for green doors and bosses, while our Serpent Siphon is for applying Aegis, Regen, and Alec. Be careful of Garish Pillar as it inflicts fear, don't use it. How we use this is going to be using our Shades, Sandstorm Shroud, Sand Cascade, and Serpent Siphon when running around to provide boons while tagging with our sword. And at green doors, we will spam Wells and our elites. For boons, it provides Swiftness, Alec, Protection, Regeneration, and Might that can be easily provided from a distance and in multiple instances. A+ tier. The tagging ability of this is great, especially at green doors with its shade skills and wells. A+ tier. Mobility on this isn't as great as Reaper or Harbinger, which is coming up, but it does still have 2 leaps coming from the sword, which is really all you need, especially when you still have the Wayfinder relic. A tier. Providing boons is really easy, and because of the boons you provide, you don't have to worry about tagging every mob with your sword, which makes positioning to land your pierce correctly not as important. A+ tier. Overall, this build is quite solid in all aspects for farming the Labyrinth. A+ tier. Harbinger is up next. For your weapons, it's going to be sword and dagger. What a surprise, the same as the other necros, providing good mobility and decent tagging capabilities with its pierce. Like the other necro builds, we have Blood Magic 111 for healing increase and Soul Reaping 321 for immobilize removal and increased survivability. For Harbinger itself, we've got the entire middle line 222. This helps us provide more boons with its concentration buff and protection, fury, and quickness production. For skills, we have all elixirs. Promise, Ignorance, Bliss, Anguish, and Ambition. These elixirs is where most of our boons come from. Use them when they're off cooldown to buff up your allies. The way you use this build will be throwing elixirs off cooldown, then entering Shroud when possible. Your auto attack's damage in Shroud is low enough to tag mobs if you only throw 1 to 2, but preferably 1 shots. For boons, you can apply every single boon, however this doesn't mean they're all 100% uptime. The main boons you will be providing 100% uptime for is Quickness, Protection, Regeneration, Swiftness, and Fury. Though Resolution and Resistance don't have 100% uptime, you still get a good amount, especially for being one of the more obscure boons. And this means you won't be fighting for control over that type of boon. The one downside to this is it's not multiple instances of boons, so providing it to more than 5 people is difficult. A tier. It has pretty good tagging capabilities with its Shroud auto attack being fast and Sword auto attack with its piercing. A tier. Its movement capabilities is close to Reaper's. It has 2 leaps on its sword and 2 leaps in its Shroud. Solid A+ tier. Ease of use. The fact that you're able to just provide boons by throwing elixirs and staying in Shroud makes this very easy to play. Its tagging abilities does make this slightly harder to use though, because you do need to position correctly and constantly swap targets. B+ tier. Overall, this is a really solid build that provides a lot of boons. A tier. Now on to the next light class. We have Mesmer. We'll be starting off with a Virtuoso. For our weapons, we're going to be using Dagger and Shield. Dagger is a great weapon for tagging with its low damage and pierce, and Shield can help provide boons to allies. For the build, we start off with Chaos 223. This provides us with the ability to apply most of our boons to allies. Inspiration 221 is the next one. This provides us with even more boons and a clone when using our heal skill, along with some extra healing. Virtuoso 111 is going to be giving you the ability to get your blades back easily, by blocking and evading attacks or just by dodging. Your skills are going to be Twin Blade Restoration, Mantra of Concentration, Blink, Rain of Swords, and 1000 Cuts. I was using Mass Invisibility though for stealth to help with getting immobilized a lot. To play this, you're going to be mainly playing it as a tagger, due to the fact that it doesn't provide that many boons and definitely not in multiple instances. Bladesong 4 and 2 have priorities due to providing more obscure boons like Resistance and Vigor. Bladesong 5 gets even higher priority than these at Green Doors. Blink is your only mobility and your heal and mantra will be used off cooldown for boons. Rain of Swords and 1000 Cuts are AoE skills for Green Doors. For boons, this is not great, even though it can provide you with a very minor amount with your Bladesong's mantra, shield, and heals. C tier. Tagging ability is very good. Not only does dagger skills have really low damage to help out others, but it also attacks fairly quickly and can pierce. Also at Green Doors, it'll have multiple AoE skills. A+ tier. Its movement capabilities outside of its teleport and Wayfinder relic isn't too great, but Blink can help. B+ tier. Tagging builds require you to swap between targets all the time to earn your bags. Dagger feels a lot easier to use though with how fast it shoots and how far it reaches. As for the boon production part, it feels complicated with having so many Bladesongs to click on, and make sure to keep all of your blades up. B tier. Overall, its tagging abilities is really good, but it lacks in boons, especially for the amount of effort needed to put in. B+ tier. And now it's time for Chrono, the Master of Time. Dagger and Shield are your weapons, providing good tagging skills and boons to allies with your shield. We start off with Chaos 223, which provides our main boons for this build on shatters as well as giving more concentration for more boon uptime. Inspiration 221 gives us a clone upon using our heal skill, which is very helpful as our clone production is terrible. Chronomancer gets 322. This provides us with even more healing and the ability to provide both Alec and quickness from our shatters, and it also passively increases our movement speed. Our skills are Wells of Eternity, Precognition, Action, Gravity, as well as Blink. How you play it is going to be tagging as many mobs as you can with your daggers and spamming your shatters off cooldown. We don't have that much clone production, so waiting isn't great. Your wells can be used anytime, and your blink is to catch up. The gravity well is mainly used at green doors to pull mobs closer. Your shield 5 will also be providing some boons. Your boons, though you have a bunch of, don't have 100% uptime, except for regeneration and might. Still, even without 100% uptime, the others can be useful in helping you get bags, especially since they're all different instances, to help spread between allies. B tier. Its tagging ability is decent like Virtuoso. Its dagger is great at tagging with its fast attack speed and pierce. Plus its wells can help with farming green doors. A+ tier. Its mobility is great and has its blink, 2 passive movement speed increases, and super speed on one of its wells. A tier. Its ease of use is not great. You have to use all of your wells and shatter skills off cooldown to keep boons up. And even when doing so, you still don't get that many 100% uptime boons. Its tagging ability is fairly easy to use, but it still requires you to constantly swap targets. C tier. Overall, this is an okay build for tagging, while still providing some boons to help out when you do miss some mobs. B+ tier. Next up, we have Mirage. Like the other Mesmer builds, we have dagger and shield for weapons and the same first 2 specializations. Chaos 223 provides us with the ability to give allies boons from our shatters. Inspiration 221 gives us even more boons and clone production from using our heal skills. Mirage itself gets 1, 2, 3. It provides you with more clone production, Alec on your ambushes, and extra movement speed. Our skills are going to be False Oasis, Mantra of Concentration, Blink, Crystal Sands, and Jaunt. False Oasis gives us Vigor and a clone to help with keeping your ambushes calming for Alec. Mantra of Concentration brings stability to help with bosses and overall just boon outputs. Blink and Jaunt gives us even more mobility with teleports, and Crystal Sands gives us AoE for green doors. To use this build, you're going to tag mobs with your dagger's auto attack, and use 3 at doors with your Crystal Sands. You're also going to be wanting to use your shatters when possible and your heal to keep up boons, including Vigor, Might, and Regeneration. Also be sure to use your ambushes to keep up Alec by dodging and using your auto attacks ambush, preferably away from mobs. If you get behind, you can use Jaunt and Blink to catch up, though you have really good mobility also through Mirage's Cloak. Let's start off with the boons. It has 4 different boons that have 100% uptime. These are Alec, Might, Vigor, and Regeneration. It of course also has other boons that it can provide, but not as often. These are not multiple instances except for Alec, so the spread between allies isn't too great, so I'll rate this at an A. Its tagging skills is pretty decent between the dagger and Crystal Sands, A tier. Its mobility is really good between Jaunt, Mirage Cloak, Blink, and the Wayfinder Relic. You can catch up even when you're way in the back, without needing to mount. This is S-class worthy. Like the other Mesmers though, there are a lot of buttons to press to provide boons. Also you do have to change targets a ton to tag mobs, but because you have 100% uptime on 4 boons, 2 of which cannot be provided by heralds, you're going to be able to be a bit more relaxed on tagging mobs. A tier. Overall, I actually like this build quite a lot, even though I'm not a Mesmer fan, and it actually works quite well. A+ tier. The next class we explore is going to be the last light armor class, and that is going to be Elementalist. First, we're going to be starting off with Tempest. Overall, Elementalist doesn't really have any good weapon for the Labyrinth. The closest we're getting to good is going to be the Spear for long distance throwing and good mobility. For the build itself, we have Arcane 211 for the concentration increase, boons upon swapping attunements, and a geyser to help pick up downed allies. We also have Earth 323 for more boons for allies and also a survivability bonus. For Tempest itself, we have 132 for allic production, more boons, and even more concentration. For the skills, we have Wash the Pain Away, Flash Freeze, Eye of the Storm, Lightning Flash, and Rebound. Wash the Pain Away, Flash Freeze, and Eye of the Storm will be used off cooldown for boons. Lightning Flash will be used for mobility with its teleport, and Rebound will be used during boss fights, especially Steve, to help keep teammates up. To use this, you're going to be using Overload Water and Overload Air, and in between them you will swap to Fire and Earth to gain the Enter boons. Other than that, you're going to be spamming your shouts off cooldown. If you get left behind, you can still catch up using your Lightning Flash. On the boon front, this is incredible. It gives allic, regeneration, protection, might, and swiftness, all at 100% uptime, and also minor amounts of vigor and fury. On top of this, most of its boons come from things that pulse, so spreading between allies is great. Because of how good it is, that is all you need to do to farm, no tagging needed. S tier. Tagging capabilities of this is not great at all. Spear overall does not have anything other than its range. Overload Air though does do a good job at tagging green door mobs though with its pulsing damage. C+ tier. Mobility on this is great with the Relic of the Wayfinder, minor super speed, and its teleport which has no cast time, so can be used while overloading. A+ tier. Ease of use. All you need to do is rotate between 7 buttons, which really isn't too hard. Water, water overload, fire, earth, air, air overload, and then repeats. And you can spam shouts in between. A tier. Overall, this is a really solid Elementalist Labyrinth build. A+ tier. Now on to the Weaver. Spear out of all of the Elementalist weapons is the one that fits most for the Labyrinth, even though it still doesn't really work too well. It does provide mobility and decent range though. To start off with the build, we have Arcane 211. This will provide us with the ability to give boons to allies just from swapping attunements, which we will be doing a lot in this build. Next up, we have Earth 323. This increases their survivability and provides more boons to allies. For Weaver, we're going to be going with 232. This gives us even more boons and buffs our movement speed by quite a lot through super speed and just a general buff to swiftness. Our skills are going to be Aquatic Stance, Unravel, Twist of Fate, Lightning Flash, and Weave Self. To use this, you're going to be focusing on tapping mobs with your spear while swapping through attunements to gain small amounts of boons. Twist of Fate and Lightning Flash are to help out with movement for when you need to catch up. When at green doors, you're going to be using Unravel and your 4 skills on your spear while rotating through your attunements. Your elite can help with swapping in between attunements by lowering the cooldown, and after the effect ends, you can use it again to have a damaging AoE. Let's start off with boons. It really tries to provide boons when swapping attunements, but it's such a low amount that you're not getting anywhere near 100% uptime. So for really good effort, I'm going to be giving this a F+. Now for the tagging ability, the part that requires the weapon to be decent. Yeah, Spear isn't too great as it attacks very slowly and doesn't pierce. It does, however, have a long range and provides some mobility, which is kind of what's saving it from being able to still get some bags. Its AoE 4 skills on green doors are okay, even though they do much higher damage than you would like. C tier. Mobility. Aha, something this might actually be good at. It's got a teleport and super speed, plus due to Weaver trait, swiftness gives even more movement speed. If you look closer, there's also a leap on Water Spear 3 and super speed on Air Spear 3. A+. Ease of use. No. Not talking about easy to use with Weaver. Swapping attunements the entire time while trying to land spear auto attacks and using skills on the side in a non-spammy fashion. Definitely not easy to use. F tier. Overall, Weaver is just not meant for running the Labyrinth. If any of you have success with using Weaver in the Labyrinth, let me know in the comments below. C tier. Now it's time for the wonderful Catalyst. We're going with the spear for the weapon. Even though it's not great, it's still better than the others. For the build, we have Arcane for the 211, providing us with the ability to provide boons to allies just by swapping attunements. For the next one, we have Earth 323. This provides us with increased survivability and even more boon production. For the Catalyst itself, we have 333. providing swapping attunements with more boons and our Jade Spheres with increased duration and more boons overall. To use this, we're going to be swapping attunements for boons and using our Jade Spheres when possible. We're severely limited by the amount of energy we have to spawn the Jade Spheres. To get this energy, we swap attunements when in combat. Be sure you are in combat. This means you still have to tag mobs even though you are boon based. Use Jade Spheres on the group when possible and use your augments while inside of them. Let's start off with the boons. This build is great for giving them. It gives 100% uptime of protection, swiftness, might, resolution, vigor, quickness, and fury. The only downside is that you need energy to get all of these, and when just running around from door to door, it's more difficult to keep up the boons uptime to 100%. It is still possible though, and at doors you definitely can keep up 100% uptime. A+ tier. Tagging capabilities is not great. It is required for the build to tag because it does need to stay in combat to gain energy for the Jade Spheres. But to use that just as the way to get bags, it's not great. C+ tier. Spear and Lightning Flash provide okay mobility, plus one of your augments also gives you a bunch of super speed. A+ tier. Ease of use. This build struggles to keep energy for Jade Spheres, but other than keeping up energy, it's actually really easy to use. All you need to do is stay in combat and swap through your attunements and use your Jade Sphere when it is available. You technically don't even need to use your augments, and it's just an helpful extra. A tier. Overall, Catalyst was surprisingly really good, with the amount of boons it gives, and for how easy it actually was to use. A tier. Here's what the final ratings for each specialization was and what each of them provide. Reaper was B+ tier. It's got great mobility and is great for toggleable damage during purple doors or Steve. Scourge was A+ tier. It's got great boons and a good tagging potential paired with good movement speed. Harbinger was A tier. It's got a lot of boons that it is able to provide along with great movement and okay tagging skills. Virtuoso was B+ tier. It's got great tagging abilities but lacks in boons and ease of use. Chrono was B+ tier. It's got okay boons, good movement speed, and great tagging abilities, but is not easy to use. Mirage was A+ tier. It's easy to use, it has incredible mobility, good tagging capabilities, and decent boon production. Tempest was A+ tier. It's got incredible boon production, decent mobility, and is fairly easy to use. Weaver was C tier. It struggles with providing boons and tagging mobs and is really difficult to use. It does have good mobility though. Catalyst was A tier. It has great boon uptime, mobility, and is easy to use, but it struggles with energy upkeep to provide those boons. Even though some might be better than others, they all still work fairly well in the Labyrinth. And if this is your favorite elite specialization to play, then it's worth it either way. Let me know if any of these classes are your main in the comments below. Also, if you're interested in builds for the other armor types, I will be posting them in the next 2 days. Consider giving this video a thumbs up, and thank you very much for watching. And I hope to see you in one of these, and have a great day.